Hello everyone. Today we are going to deal with a topic which is of interest for millions of people globally, that is land conflict. To begin, let's consider some striking facts. According to the Center for Policy Research, a public policy think tank in India, 2.5 million hectares of land is under conflict. 7.7 million people in India are affected, and 66% of all civil cases are related to land or property disputes. These disputes range from conflicts over agricultural land ownership to disagreements on urban land development. Furthermore, stalled projects worth billions of rupees have resulted from land related conflicts, causing economic setbacks and displacement of communities. The consequences are widespread, affecting individuals, businesses, and the country's overall development. In this session, we will try to understand what it means by land conflict, the underlying cause of land conflict globally, and particularly in the Indian context. We will overview the consequences of land conflicts in the end. First of all, let's understand what is conflict and why land is a source of conflict. Conflict is an inherent part of human life. It arises when two or more parties have incompatible goals, perspectives, or interests. Conflict can stem from competition over resources, power struggle, or differing values and beliefs. Land, being a fundamental and finite resource, naturally becomes a point of contention. It is not just an economic asset but also a source of identity, cultural significance, and political power. Because land is interwoven with social, economic, and political structures, disputes over land tend to be particularly complex and multifaceted. What is the meaning of land conflict? Land is one of the most contested resources globally, playing a central role in human activity, economic development, and social stability. It is not only a physical asset but also deeply connected to the identity of people, political control, and cultural heritage. Land conflicts arise due to overlapping claims and competition for resources, as well as governance challenges. Competition over land can occur among different groups based on ethnicity, religion, class, gender, or political affiliations. While land itself is often at the center of disputes, it is rarely the sole cause of conflict. Other factors, such as historical grievances, economic interests, and political marginalization, intensify these conflicts. Land conflicts are widespread and can take many forms, ranging from boundary disputes between neighbors and inheritance conflicts to large scale evictions and state led land acquisitions as well. According to Babette Wehrman, in Practical Guide to Deal with Land Disputes, the most complex land conflicts involve corrupt land administration, illegal land grabbing, and weak governance structures. When land governance fails to provide clear ownership rights or fair access, disputes escalate, sometimes leading to prolonged legal battles or even violence. Understanding the different forms and causes of land conflict is crucial in finding effective solutions. Land conflicts can also drive societal change by triggering large scale protests and influencing policy reforms. When handled constructively, they can lead to important legal and institutional improvements. Instead of ignoring them, it is crucial to approach land conflicts proactively, seeking resolutions that address the core grievances of all the parties involved. To effectively resolve land conflict, it is necessary to recognize the different types of conflicts that exist. These may vary based on the actors involved, the ownership status of land in question, for example, state owned, private, or common land, and the complexity of the underlying causes. The scale of conflict also plays a crucial role in determining how it can be resolved. A deeper understanding of land conflict, including the positions and motivations of the involved parties, is key to finding effective resolutions. Now, let's think about differentiating the land disputes and land conflicts. It is essential to distinguish between land disputes and land conflicts. A land dispute generally involves a disagreement between two or more parties regarding a particular piece of land, such as boundary issues between neighbors or inheritance claims. These disputes can be resolved often within the legal framework. On the other hand, a land conflict extends beyond an individual disagreement. It typically involves larger groups and is more deeply rooted in systemic issues such as historical grievances, resource scarcity, and policy failure. Land conflicts often defy legal resolutions due to the complexity of competing claims and lack of consensus on applicable laws and rights. Let's look at what are the causes of land conflict. The causes of land conflict vary widely across the world, influenced by socio-political, geographic, and climatic factors. However, some predominant causes commonly observed globally include land scarcity. Land scarcity occurs when the availability of land is limited relative to the growing demand for it. This imbalance makes land a highly valuable and contested resource. Several factors contribute to land scarcity, including legal barriers to access land, unequal distribution among users, and demographic shifts caused by urbanization and climate change. Additionally, certain groups may exert disproportionate influence over land ownership, further exacerbating the problem. As a result, many individuals are left with little or no land, leading to intense competition and, in some cases, conflict. The other cause could be legal pluralism. In some countries, multiple legal systems coexist, including statutory law, customary law, and religious laws. When these laws contradict to each other, land disputes become more difficult to resolve. Insecurity of tenure, where people lack formal ownership or legal recognition of their land, they are vulnerable to eviction or land grabs. This is particularly prevalent in developing nations where informal settlements are common. Fear of loss of land coupled with eviction threat can be the basis of a land conflict. The next one could be the economic interest and resource extraction. Land that is rich in natural resources is explored or demand for particular resources increases. Such situations often become a site of conflict with corporations, governments, and local communities fighting for control over valuable land. Many land conflicts they stem from colonial era land acquisitions or past forced displacements. General claims over land rights persist, making resolution very difficult. Climate change and environmental factors. Rising sea levels, desertification, and changing land use patterns due to climate change have intensified land conflicts, particularly in rural and coastal areas. Moving forward, we will shift our focus towards the land conflicts in India. Land conflicts in India arise due to multiple factors, including administrative inefficiencies, socio political influences, and economic pressures. The first one is administrative and legal challenges. Ineffective land administration and weak implementation of regulations lead to disputes. Corruption, lack of transparency, and poor coordination among government agencies, it amplifies the conflicts. The coexistence of multiple, often contradictory land laws result into confusion and legal battle. The second reason could be conflicts over common lands. A majority of land conflicts involve disputes over public and common lands. Infrastructure and industrial projects often fail to recognize community rights, leading to resistance and delays. Tribal regions, especially in Schedule 5 areas, face disputes over traditional land ownership and resource access. The third is land acquisition and development conflicts. Despite laws like the Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, that is LARR Act of 2013, many acquisitions occur without proper consultation or compensation. Displacement due to industrial, urban, or infrastructural expansion triggers protests and legal challenges. Agricultural and forest lands are often acquired for commercial use, disrupting livelihoods and ecosystems. The fourth reason could be political and socio-cultural factors. Traditional hierarchies and socio-economic inequalities influence land ownership patterns. Political shifts and economic transitions lead to power struggle over land control. Customary land rights, particularly of indigenous communities, are frequently ignored in governance or overall governance structures. The fifth one is judicial delays and unresolved disputes. A large backlog of land related cases in Indian courts delays resolution and prolongs conflicts. Many communities lacking legal knowledge or resources are unable to claim their land rights effectively. Slow legal processes lead to escalations, including protests and violent confrontations. After exploring the cause of land conflicts globally and in India, let's now understand their impacts on people. Recognizing these impacts is crucial as land conflicts can deprive individuals of their livelihoods and even render entire communities homeless and landless. Some major impacts include economic disruptions, stalled projects, legal battles, and displacement cause economic losses to individuals, businesses, and governments. Second is social unrest and violence. Many land conflicts escalate into violent protests, riots, or even armed struggles, affecting social harmony in those areas. The third one is displacement and loss of livelihoods. Families lose their homes, agricultural land, means of livelihood due to forced eviction or land grabs. The fourth one is environmental degradation. Unregulated land use changes, deforestation, and mining activities result from disputed land claims, leading to long term ecological damages. The fifth one is legal and administrative burden. The high number of land related cases burdens the judiciary and delays justice for affected parties. So let's see what all we have learned so far. Land conflict is a complex phenomena involving social, political, economic, and many other dimensions. Through this lecture, we tried to introduce ourselves with land conflicts by understanding its meaning, scope, and its causes and consequences. Understanding land conflict is essential for policymakers, planners, and citizens alike. Addressing these conflicts with a constructive approach can lead to meaningful policy reforms and better governance. In the Indian context, historical injustices, weak land governance, and competing policy narratives make land disputes a pressing concern. By recognizing the complex nature of land conflicts and working towards equitable solutions, societies can transform these challenges into opportunities for sustainable development and social justice. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to our discussions on this critical topic in the upcoming classes.